The way we treat ourselves sets the foundation for all relationships in our lives. And yet, self love is often the one we neglect the most. CJ Robinson from Channel Q Radio and I had a conversation about just this. What is self love? Why is it so challenging? And how can we make it a daily practice? Hope you enjoy this conversation.
Well, I wanted to kind of bring you on and talk real quick about, Valentine's Day.
Right.
Because I feel like so many people, maybe they are in a relationship, maybe they are, they found their loved one, but maybe they don't necessarily find that same love inside.
Yeah.
And so I feel like starting a self-love journey, it can be difficult because, many of us deal with those inner traumas, those insecurities, right? So what's a good starting point if you're like, you know what, I need to love myself more. This might be the best day to start.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be a commitment to doing just that. And I think, first of all, it requires a bit of mindfulness, a bit of curiosity, of just noticing what the lay of the land is, right? Are there things where you have a strong inner critic or inner judge? Are you judging yourself mercilessly? Is that something that's in your conscious awareness or something that you need to sort of become more aware of? Having mindfulness with self compassion is the key. It's not about forcing ourselves to be different than how we are, it's about acknowledging what currently exists and then providing some kindness, some care, some compassion, like asking ourselves, how would I treat a friend, a best friend who's dealing with this same kind of thing? How can I be that for myself? How can I show up for myself in those ways?
That's a really good way to put it. Be that best friend for yourself.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? And I feel like too, finding that self-love,
Hmm.
it comes from those little things that we do. Maybe it's journaling, maybe it's yoga, getting into that mindfulness. So, are those some
Yeah.
of the things that maybe you would suggest someone try?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, self love can look different for everyone. And it's really how you do these things that matter. So if you're journaling about all the things you hate about yourself, journaling is going to be ineffective. You know, it's about acknowledging maybe the things that you're grateful for, giving yourself credit for things that you're accomplishing or who you are as a person. It's using the tools in a way that is helping you bridge that gap, helping you develop and spend time and attention being kind and caring of yourself. So that can also be a mindfulness practice, noticing what's your organic, natural response to things that are happening in your environment and paying attention to anything that needs extra care and love and consideration, right? So that could be, for me, it's spending time in nature, it's hiking, backpacking. I love that. For someone else, it could be creative expressions, artwork, music. It could be lots of different things, but it's really what matters to you and how you use it.
So to that point, because this is something I you kind of touched on it. Some people might say, "Well, what if that thing for me is napping and sleeping?" I know this may seem
Mhm,
silly, but
mhm,
is that counterproductive? If it's like, "Hey,
mhm,
let me go into this place and kind of," because essentially when you're sleeping, you're shutting off the emotions. You're not really doing any work.
mhm,
You're kind of in that dormant state. So is that
mhm.
actually counterproductive?
It's all context dependent. So in certain instances, if you've had 12 hours sleep and you're wanting another 12, and you're not sick, right? Maybe not such a great thing. But if, you're down with the flu or you just worked, a 12-hour shift, then extra rest and sleep is absolutely one of the best things that you can do for self-love, right? So it
Yeah.
really, again, it's about the intention, it's about the context. If you're doing it from a place of like, I need to care for my body that is in physical pain or exhaustion, that's great. If it's, I want to check out from the world for hours or days on end, maybe not so much, right? So
Yeah.
really being conscious of those things.
And speaking of consciousness, maybe sometimes, I know again, like I touched on the beginning, sometimes people maybe they're in a relationship and they're just trying to find that self-love. Maybe their partner
Mm,
already has that.
mm,
Is there a way that your relationship with a partner, with a friend, with family can help
mhm.
with you kind of realizing and learning to love yourself again?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If you have really healthy, good relationships, whether with a partner, a friend, family members, coworkers, whomever, that demonstrate that you are of value and worth and show love and express it and care for you, that's a great way to sort of absorb that outside of ourselves. And hopefully, through that process, you can build that within as well, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think sometimes people have the false notion I have to be completely, fully actualized, have the best relationship with myself before entering relationship. And that's just typically not the case. Usually it's, through relationships with ourselves and with others that we bridge that gap, that we develop a better relationship with ourselves, which is from birth till death. It doesn't stop, right?
Right.
However good your relationship is.
And speaking on that, trying to find that love. I mean, that's kind of
Mhm.
where I think a lot of people are maybe.
Yeah.
Is self-love important to finding love? So essentially, is it necessary to find yourself before
Mm.
finding someone else?
Well, if you're entering dating, situations or meeting new people and you already feel a sense of value and worth regardless of the person's response, then rejection doesn't feel great, but it feels better than if you were seeking outside external validation primarily for feeling better about yourself, right? So yeah, it means that we need to both you know, try to work on ourselves enough to be able to feel better about who we are and what we have to offer in relationship. And the more that we can do that more of the time, like maybe if we're doing it 30, 40% of the day, then it's a good day, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be 100% of the time, 24/7. This is a development that we're trying to feel better about ourselves.
I think you really hit the nail on the head with this whole topic is, it doesn't necessarily have to be 100% of the time. Maybe you're just starting
Mhm.
out and it is that 20, 30%, and that's more than yesterday.
Yeah.
That's a win.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's really about noticing all the incremental steps and feeling maybe less hatred, more tolerance. And then from that, more tolerance to self-acceptance. And from self-acceptance, maybe a bit more self-love and appreciation and gratitude for who we are.
We're getting better every day.
Let's hope. It takes
Well,
work, but it's worth it.
yeah, it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, doctor, thank you once again for stepping on and chatting with us on this Therapy Thursday. And again, self love, it's the best way to celebrate Valentine's Day.
Absolutely.